Stratford.
Welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to see you. I'm Joni Gerber, the CEO of Invest Stratford. On behalf of our team and my incredibly talented and driven colleagues from the City of Stratford, it is my great privilege to welcome you here today. I think it's fitting we host such an important announcement in the council chambers of City Hall, the seat of our government where our community business is discussed and decisions are made, and have been for more than 100 years. Premier Wynne, Ministers Duguid and Moridi, MPP Verneil, and other dignified guests, welcome to our home. Arriving to this day was not without tireless efforts of our partners and stakeholders, many of whom you met during the technology showcase and will hear from this afternoon. Debts of gratitude to the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association, the University of Waterloo, and the Waterloo Centre for Automotive Research, Festival Hydro and Rhizome, and of course the Ontario Centres of Excellence. I think we can officially confirm the extension of the Toronto-Waterloo Tech Corridor just slightly west to Stratford on the map now.
I'm delighted to be here in one of the smartest cities in the world, led by one of the smartest mayors anywhere in Ontario, Dan Matheson. Thank you for hosting us here today, Dan, and to you and your community, thank you for taking this on. I'm delighted to be here with the Premier, of course, and my colleague, Reza Moridi, and our great colleague, Diane Verneil. Where are you, Diane? MPP for Kitchener Centre. Give it up for Diane, a huge supporter of our tech sector here. Flavio Volpe, our good friend, Tom Core, and our auto advisor, Ray Tanguay, sitting right in the front row here. Ray, thank you for your stellar advice through the years and for helping to get us where we are today. And we are so proud of our auto sector in Ontario. We continue to be the top producer of vehicles in North America here in this province. The auto sector continues to be a very important part of the backbone of our economy, but we know that there are challenges ahead, and we're very fortunate here in this province to have a premier that gets that, a premier that's a true champion for the auto sector. This premier has been working tirelessly on many of those challenges, including some of the challenges that are taking place south of the border, where we know we have got a protectionist administration south of the border that may impact some of our auto sector. And this premier is doing everything she can to ensure that Ontario's auto sector and economic and other interests are being looked after. She's already met with 32 governors now south of the border, so she's doing her work in that respect. But there's another, call it a threat, call it a challenge before the auto sector today. And I think it's a more long-standing challenge than what we face in NAFTA. And that's the fact that our auto sector is in a full-fledged state of technological disruption. So we have a choice as a province. We can watch as the rest of the world is involved in that technological disruption, and we can allow that to run us over, or we can lead technology and the evolution of technology from here in Ontario to ensure that indeed we have a strong auto sector, not only today, but well into the future for future generations to be able to enjoy. And that's why this premier has been so steadfast in making the investments we need to make in driving that technology from here in Ontario. The investments that this premier has made in artificial intelligence through the Vector Institute and others. The investments that this premier has made in 5G, next generation network technology. The investments this premier is making in supercomputing. The investment she's making in quantum technology, and the investments in all those other areas of technology. But just as importantly, and why we're here today, the investments that this premier is going to announce today in autonomous vehicle technology, which is an area where we feel truly that we have the talent to be able to lead globally. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to a champion of our auto sector, a champion of the new economy, Premier Kathleen Wynne.
Thank you very much, Brad, and it's great to be here with all of you in this beautiful building. This is fantastic. And, what a privilege to be able to be here. And thank you to all of you who are sitting up here who have been named, and to all of the students. You are, as Brad was saying earlier, he asked you if you're or he told you that you're the future, and you said you know that. You've been telling us that. But I'd say, given the work that you're doing on some of those vehicles we saw outside, you're the present. You're the present pushing us into the future. So thank you. So Reza, Diane, Your Worship, I think the last time we had an in-depth conversation about all of this and the investments that needed to be made, we were in Tokyo. And we were talking about the future of Stratford. And so here we are, taking another step in that future. And you have laid the groundwork in so many ways. So thank you to you and your team here at Stratford. And Flavio, thank you for your advocacy. Brad talked about me meeting with 32 governors, and I've been meeting with congresspeople and senators, because the auto sector is critical to the health of Ontario's economy. We have a very diversified economy, but we have some pillars. And one of the major pillars, over 100,000 jobs directly dependent on the auto sector in Ontario. And so with partners like Flavio, he's talking to his counterparts in the United States. He's making it clear that we understand here in Ontario how integrated our economies are. And so the auto parts sector is very much an important driver of that integrated supply chain. So Flavio, thank you for your partnership and for the work that you're doing. So we're here to talk about some really cool things that are happening in Stratford, but I'm going to. Maybe it's because we're standing in this historic building, but I want to acknowledge that we are, with all of the new technology and everything that we're doing, we're standing on land that has been walked for generations by Indigenous people, and it's Treaty Awareness Week in Ontario, so I just want to acknowledge the contributions of Indigenous people to the success of our past and to the success of our future as we stand here, and show my respect for the contributions of Indigenous people. It's great to be here in Festival City, or is it now Innovation City? Innovation City. Stratford being home to University of Waterloo's Digital Media Lab, to the RBC Data Center, the Stratford Accelerator Center, I think really does earn that new name. So I talk about that because we are in Stratford, rooted in history. It's hard not to think about history when you drive through Shakespeare to get to Stratford. But I am thrilled to be here with you today to launch the Autonomous Vehicle Innovation Network, or AVIN, and among the first demonstration zones of its kind in Canada. So this is not Stratford catching up to things that are happening in other places. This is Stratford leading the way, and we're so proud of what's going on here. So this is a place where small and medium-sized companies like those that are here today can test the next generation of connected and automated vehicle technology in real-world driving situations. Hence the heaters on the cameras on the top of the vehicle, because it gets cold here. Stratford will be the place where Canadian innovators put themselves to the test, and where international partners collaborate with Canadian companies to drive local growth and innovation. And this technology has the potential to revolutionize the way we get around, to revolutionize Stratford's economy, but to revolutionize what's happening in mobility around the world. The idea of a self-driving car may still seem a bit futuristic and a little bit unknown to a lot of people. But you know, all of you certainly here know, certainly the back row knows, and I've been learning that this is so close to becoming our everyday reality. It's not tomorrow, but it's really close to being the norm in terms of how we get around. And I see so much opportunity here for Ontario to continue to be the go-to place when it comes to technology. And that's really what we are talking about. We're talking about leading the way. Ontario is among the world leaders in pushing forward the fourth industrial revolution. We're the second largest ICT hub in North America. 77,000 jobs created since 2010 in that sector. 7 of the world's 10 largest tech companies do R&D right here. We build millions of cars a year, as Brad has said, and more than 150 Ontario companies and organizations are involved in Ontario's blossoming Connect and autonomous vehicle industry, which supports in itself 10,000 jobs. So we're in a great position to take advantage of all of that opportunity that comes with technology that's about to explode. Companies are investing and growing because we have the highly skilled workforce that they need. Our young people who are here today and so many more across the province have exactly what companies are looking for: their ability to think outside any box that might be put in front of them. And the competitive business-friendly climate that helps innovators take their ideas from concept to reality to marketplace. The fact is that at a time when other jurisdictions are becoming more insular, more protectionist, whether they're unable or unwilling to let the world's best and brightest in, we are open. We are open, we are growing talent right here, and we welcome talent from around the world and companies to come here and set up and expand. We're unwavering in our commitment to build a welcoming and inclusive place to do business and to live. And that's really the foundation of our economy. I would say that that's the foundation of our society here in Ontario and in Canada, is that we opened our doors, but we also recognize that part of that identity that we have is based on the fact that, apart from Indigenous people that I referenced earlier, we all came from somewhere else. So we all came here and we haven't closed the door behind us. We are keeping those doors open. It's not enough, though, simply to grow the economy. It's also what you do with that growth that matters to people. And so as we celebrate this next step in technological advancement, and as we celebrate the role that Stratford is going to play in being a testing ground for that technology, we have to recognize that we need to continue to work to create the fairest and most inclusive economy that we can. That's our commitment to the people of Ontario. In my opinion, that's what government exists to do. So as we progress, as we grow our economy, we need to make sure that people have what they need. So that's what free tuition for young people from low and middle-low income families is about. That's what 100,000 childcare space is about. That's what a $15 minimum wage is about. Because we are going to be successful in this province if we all move forward together. If we make the decision that we're not going to leave people behind. We are going to do everything in our power to bring everyone along with us. Then we'll be that beacon for the world that we know we can be. Thank you so very much. Merci.
Premier, today you announced very major points in the history of our economy, in the history of this province, and in particular in the history of this particular industry, as you refer to it as the pillar of our economy, the auto industry. The thing which happened today and will happen in the years to come is going to be very transformative in the history of auto industry. It's going to impact our daily lives, the way we commute within the cities and also from one city to another. Its impact is going to be comparable to the invent of internet, which basically changed the way we communicated with each other in the past 30 years when it happened. And today, we cannot live without internet. So within maybe 20 years from now, the same thing will happen when it comes to commuting from location A to location B, either in cities or around our country and around provinces. The autonomous vehicle is the future, and the auto industry is, as Premier mentioned, one of the pillars of our industry, our economy. And this announcement today by the Premier will make sure that this industry will remain as a pillar of our economy for years and decades to come. The industry, or the new investments, or the new innovation which is going to come up in years to come, is going to bring in various sectors of industry together. It's not just only auto industry. It will bring in together information technology, computer technology, software engineering, data analytics, artificial intelligence, advanced manufacturing, and the many, many others. It's also going to help, not only it's going to help us to develop the technology, but also it's going to help us to train highly qualified personnel in order to run this industry in the future. And also it's going to put our country, our province in the map for years and decades to come. So this is a very historic moment which happened in this beautiful city of Stratford. And I'm sure that next generations are going to benefit from the decision which made today and the announcement which Premier made today. Premier is a great champion for innovation economy in the province of Ontario and in fact in our country, Canada. So we are so grateful, Premier, for your leadership in this very, very important sector. Our economy, ladies and gentlemen, is moving towards innovation economy, knowledge-based economy, and that is the way we can compete in the world stage. We cannot compete with low-wage economies around the world. The only way we can compete is by innovation, by creating new technologies, new inventions, innovations, and commercialization of those technologies. That is the way we have to go, and that is the way that Premier has showed to us and lead us, and they will continue to lead us so that we will remain in the forefront of economic developments in the Western world. And it's not surprising that today we are leading in terms of economic growth the G7 countries with 2.7% economic growth. And it is not surprising that today Ontario is the 6th or 7th largest economy in Americas. Among 63 semi-autonomous jurisdictions we have in Americas, Ontario is 6th or 7th largest economy. And it's not surprising that Ontario today is #1 jurisdiction for foreign direct investments. And it's not surprising that the city of Toronto today is the 2nd largest financial center in Americas after New York. So there are so many things to celebrate, but these celebrations didn't come just out of blue. It came out of the leadership of the decisions which has been taken and led by the Premier. So thank you very much, Premier, and thank you everyone here, and in particular thank you, Your Worship. Thank you.
Premier Wynne, Ministers Duguid, Moridi, MPP Vernile, Flavio and Tom, thanks so much. Today is a celebration of a partnership coming together of the province of Ontario with the Auto Parts Manufacturers Association and the Ontario Centres of Excellence, recognizing that Stratford has done a number of things over the last number of years to position ourselves for growth in the future economy. Today I'm struck by the fact that many people will ask how many jobs came out of today? What was the amount of money to be spent? And I challenge you to not look at today or tomorrow for direct results, but to look out 10, 15, and 20 years on where we've positioned ourselves as an economy within southwestern Ontario. We sit now as part of the Toronto-Waterloo corridor. It's actually Toronto-Stratford now officially because of this announcement today. We sit on the edge of the 2nd largest IT cluster, but in the heartland of Ontario's auto manufacturing of both parts and vehicles. I think that speaks to how things come together in Stratford. Where we have said for years that industry and arts combine in this community, it continues to combine, and it continues to position ourselves for future growth and innovation. We wouldn't be here today without my council colleagues who have, over a number of years in multiple terms, have made the right decisions that look into the future. Such things as holding on to our hydro company back in the late 1990s and continuing to operate it today under the leadership of Uzni Semsedini, our CEO. Also laying fiber in the early 2000s through Rhizome Networks, our data utility, which today, of course, spans almost 90 kilometers of fiber and a ubiquitous Wi-Fi cover over the entire city. Those decisions have allowed us to be in the position today, led by Joni and her staff at Invest Stratford and Rob Horn and our staff at the City of Stratford, to bring it all together to make Stratford the ideal place to not only test innovation and autonomous and connected cars, but to also make best practices for cities, all 444 of us across this province, and to actually lead ourselves in the auto industry and technology disruption together. Stratford is and will be a city that matters in the future. We may be small, but we are innovative. We've proven that time and again, and today is no different. I want to thank everyone who made this a great success. I know that today is a great day for celebration. The hard work starts tomorrow. It starts with getting a group of citizens together with council and discussing as a local advisory committee issues that will come from this, and an opportunity for us to, as we always have in the past, find homemade solutions and make sure that we lead this autonomous and connected car innovation network as we should. I thank you all for coming. I thank all the companies and the partners we have. Mr. Tenge, your leadership, I remember in 2011 you told me to think big. I hope we finally met with of course, your approval. And we couldn't do it, though, without a partner at Flavio Volpe. And Flavio came to me with this idea about 3.5 years ago. that we could do it after I spoke to Mr. Tanguay, and I told him what Ray had said, and he had come back with a great idea. And Flavio, on behalf of the city, I want to thank the Auto Parts Manufacturers Association and your over 500 company members for choosing us to be a great partner in this, what will be an innovative ride in the auto sector, but in the future economy. Flavio Volpe.
How do you follow Dan Matheson at home? I don't know who set this up for me. Look, I took over this project. It wasn't my vision. It was a vision of predecessors and member companies who said, we've seen best practices around the world. We see what Ontario has to offer, and we think we can do a great job here. I would be remiss if I didn't point out companies like Invotech and T Connectivity. Earl and Sam are there and there. They want to hide from the spotlight, but they deserve the credit for the vision. And companies here that Premier, you met outside, companies like MyoVision and eScript and Renesas. This is where the investment is going to come. Every cathedral has its architect. You know, I'm simply the preacher once it gets built. I talked to Dan Matheson a few years ago, and I said, we've got all these companies, they want to make an investment. They want to have a place where we can do real-world demonstration to our customers. You know, we took the original Lexus down at Palo Alto. We had 7 OEM meetings, companies like Tesla, BMW, Mitsubishi, and they said, yeah, we're interested. What if you made an adjustment on the hardware here and an adjustment on the software there? And we said, we got to go home and do it, and we'll call you back. And you know, you kind of lose the momentum with your client. And I said that to Dan. He said, well, bring them here and have enough cars to do it and make them roll in the snow. You know, nothing like an autonomous car. And there's no other way to prove that it works. And bring it to Stratford in a blizzard and watch it stay in the lane. And so he said, you do your work, and we'll do ours. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out a champion that we had in Brad Dogood. I said, I think that means you got to cut a check, Brad.
We commend her vision and the minister's vision in bringing forward this initiative, and we're honored to help deliver it. We also want to thank our partners at APMA, and Fabio in particular, for their support of this program. In collaboration with our partners, OCE is pleased to manage the AVIN Central Hub, which, among other things, plays a unifying and strategic role in AVIN's 4 program streams, which include the AV Research and Development Partnership Fund, the Talent Development Program, the demonstration zone right here in Stratford, and up to 6 regional technology development sites across Ontario. The Central Hub will connect and coordinate and act as a key point of contact for the AV sector. It will identify opportunities, perform and conduct research, and knowledge translation and analysis to help bring technology and policy together and to bridge it. The Central Hub will also play a key role in program delivery by administering, overseeing, evaluating, and integrating AVIN programming. And it will also focus on awareness and education to promote the AVIN project programs. We are also pleased to deliver the AV R&D Fund, which will foster collaboration between large firms and SMEs, as well as the talent development component, which provides students and recent graduates with the experiential learning programs and provides SMEs access to the great top talent that we have in Ontario. We are looking forward to working with all of our partners to drive the success of this innovative program. OCE is hosting the first AVIN Partnering Forum on November the 28th. We're pleased that Ministers Moretti and Dogood will be there. So the website is live. You can visit it at avinhub.ca today to get started and to register for the Partnering Forum. Premier, I'm delighted to say that we're in business. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to pull an audible here. The Premier indicated the media have the press release, but many of the folks in the room don't. And the Premier said, you know, maybe we better outline a little more precisely what it is we're announcing today with the numbers so that the folks in the room will have a better idea as to why this is a game changer in our autonomous vehicle efforts here today. So what we announced today was an $80 million over 5 years commitment to our autonomous vehicle innovation network. What that involves is $5 million that will go into this Stratford testing zone, which we're really excited about, the first in Canada of its type. $5 million that will go into helping ensure that we continue to provide the talent that we need that's behind us here today that's so important in driving this sector forward. So that'll be in the form of more internships for our students and more fellowships for our students as well, and our professors in our universities. $30 million will go towards the research, Autonomous Vehicle Research Fund that Tom Core and OCE will be administering. We're very excited about that because that will come with matching funds from partners that will be private sector partners, association partners, as well as post-secondary partners. And then, of course, there's the hub that will be set up, and that's a $10 million commitment. Some of that will be available online. This will be the first time that Ontario will have a coordinating hub for what is one of the fastest growing autonomous vehicle clusters anywhere in the world today. And again, Tom and his group at the Ontario Centres of Excellence will play a very important part of that. The final part of the strategy, the details of which we will announce in the new year, is the part that involves the autonomous vehicle, what's that? Regional technology hubs. So there's going to be 6 regional technology hubs that I thought I'd get them all, Premier, but I lost the last one. Autonomous regional technology hubs. This work is being done throughout the province. This is one of the most exciting hubs. It's being done in other areas as well. So we want to ensure that we're growing these opportunities right across the province. So it'll be about a $30 million contribution that will go into those technology hubs as well. So for those in the room that don't have the press release, this is truly a game-changing moment for our autonomous vehicle cluster here in the province of Ontario. So thank you to you all.
Minister, I had that written down. Oh. No, I'm kidding. And now, as Mayor Dan mentioned, now our work begins. To whom much is given, much is expected, and the success of these initiatives will require dedication, collaboration, and creativity. Our intent to attract, retain, and grow world-leading companies is off to a great start. Companies that you met today, MileVision, Escript, Carnegie, Renesas, and Pitstop, have already started the ball rolling, and it's our job to keep them going. Thank you, Premier Wynne, Ministers Duguid and Moridi, and our dignified guests for coming today. Please check in with us often. I think you're going to continue to be proud of the things we'll accomplish. This investment in connected and autonomous vehicles has opened our doors to the world, and it's clear that we're ready. Thank you all for coming. I wish you well. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Go be innovative and keep us posted with all of the great things that you're doing. Thank you very much.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Thursday.
You
do
need painting.
Those wacky improv artists are back.
Oh my God, no!
Theater on the Edge on Rogers TV.
What really triggered it was one of my friends who took his own life. I started self-medicating with alcohol. I couldn't sleep. I was having constant nightmares, waking up screaming. A friend of mine referred me to the Legion. I had no idea what services they provided, but that's what eventually forced me to seek the help, and I'm glad I did. It was the best thing that I ever did.
Ringers vs. Regulars is back for another season of 8-ball action. It's your chance to watch